Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here on Conversations with Taz for Talk About It Tuesday. Tonight, we're going to get into a little bit more of the background information regarding the Carmelo Anthony case. If you are not aware, the trial is set to begin June 1st of this year, and there's a lot of just flat out lies circulating the internet regarding this. Part one of the series is actually on the Villain's View. This will be part two. There will be a part three discussing the video. Yes, there is a video of the incident that occurred. And then there will also be a part four back on the Villain's View. Um, there's so much. Where do we begin? Um, let's go back to, let's say, the beginning. The incident in question. Now, the incident was witnessed by 30 plus people, mostly students, with approximately a half a dozen coaches witnessing the incident. Um, the witnesses hail from 5 different schools in Frisco, Texas. I'm sorry. And the incident took place at Frisco Centennial High School. There was a track meet that day. It does need to be noted that Carmelo Anthony was on the roster and he is the captain of the track team. Now, initially, the public and different media outlets were touting the so-called victim, Austin Metcalf, as a track star, but his mother, most notably, talks about him being a football prodigy, stating that D1 colleges were definitely looking his way. Now, currently, on her Twitter account and his twin brother Hunter's Twitter account, they're hyping up Hunter's D1 goals and wishes and dreams. Now, the incident took place at Kirkendall Stadium, like I said, for a track meet. And there are a lot of people with a lot of things to say. And most notably, they're touting Austin Metcalf as a victim. But I want you to take a look and listen to something. And then we'll talk about it on the other end.
But to make it seem like Austin just some victim and like Carmelo's just some bad guy, that's a lie. When you keep out the part that witnesses are saying that Austin put hands on Carmelo, you are keeping out facts, you are keeping out truths, you're giving half truths. If someone comes up to you and pushes you or grabs you, especially when it comes to men and men, then man and man, then what do you think this is? Someone's going to either push you or something else is going to happen to you. Every man knows you can't just go up to men and grab them or push them unless you're ready for a physical altercation. It just so happens that Austin wasn't ready for Carmelo to pull that knife out. I don't agree with Carmelo pulling the knife out. I don't agree with Austin putting hands on Carmelo. But this is the situation we were given. And honestly, I wish I didn't even have.
And let's be clear, no knife was pulled out. There was a cleat sharpener. A cleat sharpener. But there is a witness that last year did come forward and give his statement recorded.
Y'all, a witness came out and made a statement in the Carmelo Anthony case, and I have to let y'all hear this because this is the piece I have been missing that I have been waiting. Had to.
Dude, I ain't got them check. Yeah.
He's talking about Carmelo.
I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity, so I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So, dude walks up. McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent.
He's talking about the twins.
They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to trying to get dry.
Karmelo was on his phone.
They went from another. They grabbed this man.
Grabbed
and
him.
They tried to punch on dude. Dude went in
Yep.
there, and what they went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened.
Mind you, this man does not know.
This is why, seemingly out of left field, the father is saying, oh, this isn't about politics. This isn't about race. This isn't. Yes, it is. It's about all of the above. All of the above. Now, if you're not aware, the parents, Jeff and Megan Metcalf, do not reside under the same roof. Well, they didn't at the time of this incident. Now, Megan Metcalf, according to her recollection, was not present at the track meet. She says that Hunter, Austin's twin brother, called her screaming that Austin had been stabbed and that Hunter was blocking the wound simultaneously. Okay. And then she touts that she beat the ambulance to the hospital. Don't recall her saying anything about reaching out to the ex-husband, but pish posh, potato, potato. Hunter Metcalf said, and I quote, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I looked at my brother, and I'm not going to talk about the rest. Now, that's what it's officially quoted in a multitude of articles. But we're going to come back to that in a minute. But just that's what I saw. And I mean, I tried to help him. Currently, Megan Metcalf is making a mockery out of the gag order, judge's orders, especially on the application Facebook, really telling people, oh, what are they going to do? Tell them I'm talking about this. I don't know why any mother would jeopardize a case when she's claiming that she wants justice. Now, looking at things on a preliminary basis and going back and updating it, it appears that the Metcalf family is really just trying to profit off of it. And stick a pin in that. We're going to deep dive into that a little bit more in a moment. But I do want to bring your attention to an opinion piece that I came across that I do want to share with you. This piece comes from blackenterprise.com. It's entitled, If We're Asking Who Taught Karmelo Anthony, we must also ask what kind of parents raised Austin Metcalf. Because let's be real, society consistently, when it comes to Black and brown bodies, always ask us, why did we put ourselves in this position? Why didn't we just walk away? Why didn't we do this? Why weren't we raised better, to know better in regards to these things? So, the white student died after confronting Karmelo Anthony, a Black student who felt threatened. I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? That's what Jeff Metcalf, the grieving father of Austin Metcalf, said as he forgave the Black teenager accused of killing his son. Did he really forgive, or was that just good publicity in order to get other people to join onto his hate train of racism? Because comments that he's made since then, especially when he did his TikTok tour of explaining, like when he brought up how many times his son Austin tore the father's rotator cuff, to the point where he ended up having to have surgery due to their rough housing. But let's continue with this article. Metcalf, a white high school student from Texas, was fatally stabbed during a confrontation with another student, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, who was Black. The incident occurred during a track meet in Frisco, where reports suggest the altercation began after Metcalf attempted to remove Anthony from an area under his school's tent. Anthony is currently charged with first-degree murder and being held on a $1 million bond. In the aftermath, Metcalf's father went on television and posed the question that has echoed across media and comment sections alike. What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. If we're going to talk about forgiveness, then with that forgiveness should be honesty. There was no knife brought. And there's no reason to keep acting as if Carmelo Anthony was just sitting and then just got up and decided to take someone's life. That is the furthest thing from the truth. It's a familiar script. The suspicion, the blame, the scrutiny of the other child's upbringing, the assumption that some kind of moral failing, parental neglect, or cultural deficiency must have led a black boy to violence. Jeff Metcalf questioned Carmelo Anthony's parents in the same breath that he asked God for peace. But keep in mind, Carmelo Anthony wasn't the one that came from the stereotypical black home that so many non deconstructing white bodied individuals love to place us in. The broken home is the Metcalf home. The questionable parenting that is on full display is on the side of the Metcalfs. But let's continue. But I wonder, what if we turn that question around? What kind of parents raised Austin Metcalf? That's the question, isn't it? Because whenever a black youth is killed, the country performs its well rehearsed ritual of digging into their home life, school performance, their behavior, their photos, their parents. America never mourns the loss of black life without first dissecting us and leveling micro inquisitions at black families. Because they were very quick to tout Austin's GPA, or at least what they're releasing to the public is his GPA. Not gonna lie, I am quite skeptical of what they're putting out and what they're touting. Because I've worked alongside scouts. And if you're doing track and field, you're playing football and you're accustomed to being scouted and you're such a stellar student, the behavior that he exhibited that fatal day does not give someone who's being regularly scouted. And given how his brother is acting on Twitter right now, they're not used to truly being scouted. But hey, let's look at who's truly benefiting from the death of Austin right now. Looks like this family is going to get a comeuppance. They don't really need justice, do they? So, where did Austin Metcalf's parents go wrong? What kind of household raises a boy like Austin Metcalf? A boy who, according to witnesses, used a racial slur during a confrontation with a black peer. And this is what's not being brought up with all the white bodied individuals that are flocking from miles around in support of Austin. Metcalf, a white high school student from Texas, was fatally stabbed during a confrontation with another student, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, who was black. The incident occurred during a track meet in Frisco, where reports suggest the altercation began after Metcalf attempted to remove Anthony from an area under his school's tent. Anthony is currently charged with first-degree murder and being held, well, now released, on a $1 million bond. In the aftermath, Metcalf's father went on television and posed the question that echoes across media and comment sections alike. What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet and murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. And once again, that wasn't true. But it doesn't matter how true it is or is not. That's not what's important. That's not what's important at all. The only thing that matters is painting the white child as a child and as the victim, and painting the black child as a grown adult that should just know better. And if you think I'm joking, I want you Let's take a look at the obituary page here for Mr. Austin. Austin Matthew Metcalf, July 31st, 2007 to April 2nd, 2025. Let's look at some of these messages that were left. They don't know anything about him, just that his life was taken. No trial thus far, no nothing. There's a slew of flat out lies. I'm not going to call it misinformation or disinformation because it's flat out lies circulating on the internet. Marilyn Clark, I have followed this horrible story from the beginning. Did you follow it, or did you just hear black boy kills white boy? I live in Arizona. Austin is at peace and surrounded by God's angels. I have wanted all along for someone in Frisco to spearhead the renaming of Kirkendall Stadium to Austin Metcalf Stadium in memory of an outstanding young man in every way. To have his life cut short at only 17 after living an exemplary life, he deserves that much. Please, someone, make it happen in Frisco, Texas. Rest in peace, Austin. Here's the thing. This woman says she followed the story from the beginning. What story? She lives in Arizona. She has decided that this young man needs a stadium named after him, that he's an outstanding young man. He's had an exemplary life from what? Like, look at these. May God bless all of you in your loss. With kindest regards from California. Okay. To the Metcalf family, I am a near 60-year-old man in Florida, and I am so genuinely sorry for your family's loss. Austin clearly brought joy and laughter to so many in his life, and he will be forever missed. If he brought so much joy and love and caring, why was he using racial slurs? Why was he on the attack? My family's heart aches with you in the wake of the unimaginable loss of Austin. Words fall short in moments like these, but you may find strength in the knowledge that Austin's spirit lives on. I hope the fuck it doesn't. I'm really sorry this happened to your family. Condolences from Japan. Do I believe that actually came from Japan? No. I pray for all of his classmates and mostly family members to bypass this pains in tranquility and peace. Here's a picture of Squidward crying for Austin Metcalf's death. RIP Austin. The world and especially the US is devastated that such a tragedy could happen to someone with such a bright future. I don't have any doubt that you would have touched many lives for the better. You already have. Everyone loved you and you were an inspiration to so many. Prayers for the Metcalf family that you have peace, especially for Hunter. That twin bond is something special. Blessings to your family. Where's all this love and goodwill that he supposedly had and was spreading around? And I'm not being facetious because generally, when a good person passes away, people come out in droves to speak on them, to talk about their experience with them. I regularly scour the internet looking for a classmate, a parent, a coach, someone to say that this young man was great, that he was missed, that he was a part of this. Now, the family keeps going, well, we're having this event at our family church, and we're acting as if they were so church going, so church going, so church going, so church going. One thing for certain, two things for sure, that I have learned from white bodied individuals and their brand of church is not roses, pleasant feelings, or anything. I've been told multiple times that these people rarely know one another, rarely know each other's name, let alone anything else. And they're not going to the church house to get better. They're going to the church house for photo ops. Seems to me he was a bully that got what he demanded. They raised another little white male monster. buck stopped raising the yeah, you'd be correct. Because I did a little digging. Lil Birdie told me that there was a scholarship put together in Austin's name. And I was like, okay, that happened. I've talked about it before. I have a relative that upon their passing, we put together a scholarship committee and a scholarship that's awarded annually. Now, this did not start immediately after the person's death because there's some things you have to get in order. There's some processes, etc. And that generally happens after a grieving period because you're now dealing with business matters. Okay? But the Austin Metcalf Scholarship is a memorial scholarship that is associated with the Hope Fellowship Church. And it was created due to the family's request. Now, the reason why I point out that it's associated with the Hope Fellowship Church is because of who the very first recipient was. And if the family is like, oh, we don't know anything about that, the school chose it. Now, all of this is pretty dang quick, seeing how this just happened last year. Keep that in mind. But I want you to tell me if this is suspicious or not. Take a look at who this recipient is. Did you catch that? One second. Because just in case you missed it. Don't you find that suspicious? Don't you find that weird? And word on the curb, and we'll get more into that regarding especially why this person in particular receiving this. It is interesting to say the least. Because there are reports that this individual helped the Metcalf boys and knows information about what was going down. Like I said, we're going to slow cook this because there's a lot of information. We're going to keep bringing you updates. Now, the Austin Metcalf Scholarship. This is a summary. This is just a summary, okay? Supposed to honor the legacy of Austin Metcalf by supporting students who demonstrate exceptional faith and perseverance. As we just saw, Kevon Jackson was the first recipient of the Austin Metcalf Memorial Scholarship. Eligibility. Open to students who exemplify resilience and strong work ethics, reflecting Metcalf's values. Let's run this back. Supposed to honor the legacy of Austin Metcalf by supporting students who demonstrate exceptional faith and perseverance. Eligibility. Open to students who exemplify resilience and strong work ethic, reflecting Metcalf's values. Award amount varies by institution. Some programs offer $200 scholarships. Why would it vary by institution? And what programs? Who's handling the scholarship? Because initially they said instead of sending flowers, donate to this scholarship. Application process. Now, we haven't even gone a full calendar year from when this incident happened, and we already have the first recipient. And as much time as this family has spent at press conferences, online, on Newsmax, OAN, Fox News, etc., I don't know how they put together a committee to do anything. But here's the application process. It requires essays, recommendations, and proof of academic or extracurricular achievements. So who went through all of the applicants? Who put together what the essay requirements were? Who verified the recommendations? Who verified the academic and extracurricular? Okay. So it was established to honor Austin Metcalf's impact on his community and inspire future generations. What was his impact? And this is three different reasons for this. Mhm. Now, we know that the first recipient was Kevon Jackson, the first ever recipient, celebrated for overcoming adversity and maintaining academic excellence. But I thought it was supposed to be demonstrating exceptional faith and perseverance because this is supposed to be awarded through the church. Then they said resilience and strong work ethic. But Kevon was awarded because he overcame adversity. What adversity? And maintained academic excellence. Okay. But then they said that there's another recipient, DK Metcalf. While not a scholarship recipient, his high school achievements highlight the Metcalf family's commitment to excellence. And here's where it really gets interesting. How to apply. Research. Identify institutions offering the Austin Metcalf Scholarship. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that weird? But the Metcalf family issued a statement saying that the school that Austin went to awarded this. Okay. Prepare documents, gather transcripts, recommendation letters, and personal statements. But I thought you had to complete the application by the specified deadline, follow up, attend interviews, or provide additional information if requested. Are they doing interviews? Like what is it? This seems very willy-nilly. Mm-hmm. Very, very very but let's go through and take a quick gander at this right here. Oops. Grateful, grateful, grateful. God has been so good to us. My baby, Kevon Jackson, is the first recipient of the Austin Metcalf Memorial Scholarship. This is truly an honor and a blessing for our family. Many thanks to the Metcalf family for thinking of others in their moments of sorrow. So, who chose the recipient? Please know we are grateful and we will wear this crown as a badge of honor. Megan Prawl Metcalf, my friend, my sister, I love you and I thank you. Oh, so y'all know each other. Are you all the token Black family? Are y'all the ones that put the battery in their backs? Well. But here's something I really want y'all to pay attention to. And I want you to really, really, really listen to what Mr. Hunter has to say during this particular video. Well, interview, I should say.
Y'all, a witness came out and made.
Sorry. That is the wrong one. Everything starts to look the same after a while. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
interview that ABC News did with Austin Metcalf's twin brother. Now, this is not a legal document, but this is an interview from the brother that was at the event. There's also been a surface video that was allegedly taken at the track meet. It's actually like a live video. I'll tag the original person that posted it below. The only reason I'm showing you this is to show how many witnesses there were to this incident. So either way, whether this was self-defense or not self-defense, there are enough witnesses there to be able to determine that, hopefully. And I'll show you this video in just a second. But first, let's listen to the event in the eyes of Austin Metcalf's twin brother.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around him as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
I'm not going to play for you the...
Hold on. Listen closely.
After they said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around him as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and I'm not going to talk about the rest. So.
I'm not going to play for...
I'm not going to talk about the rest. Now, let's talk about these tents that they say belong to them. There were multiple schools there. 2 tents were put up. The 2 tents allegedly were put up by Austin and Hunter, the brother you just saw talking. Now, at this track meet and where they were, there were no rules about what tents you could be under. Didn't have to be bothered. He didn't go and get somebody to say remove him. No, he just decided he was going to be that. And the brother said he didn't see anything, but he admitted that his brother was the aggressor. He picked up in the middle of that story, if you caught it, where you could see where his eyes were going, shifting, that he didn't tell what, and it's amazing. It's amazing that usually when a Black person is involved, all the non-deconstructing white-bodied individuals are like, well, what happened before? What? They're not asking what happened before. So Austin grabbed the backpack, grabbed it, and was like, hey, we're going to go. Because who automatically just says, hey, if you touch me, that there was more to it. But he's not going to discuss anymore. He already admitted he didn't see who stabbed what, none of it. But then called his mother and screamed. But the reason why I say the Metcalf family is using this as their comeuppance, financially and otherwise, because Hunter seems to be benefiting from having a dead brother. I don't mean to sound callous, but it is what it is. There are multiple GoFundMes for the Metcalf family. Jeff Metcalf, the father, put up a GoFundMe with a goal of $1 million. It's entitled Honoring Austin Metcalf, Help His Family Heal. I guess you can heal with $1 million. Then Carrie Ordas made one for Marley Needham. Before you go, Taz, none of those names sound like they're let her cook. Carrie Ordas states that she owns the pizzeria that Megan, the mother, and the twins, Austin and Hunter, worked at. So she could have done a fundraiser, put out a tip jar, and just handed them money, or put it in their name. But she put it towards Marlene Needham, who is Megan's sister. Why? Because if you're my employee, why do I need a middleman? And that goal is $200K. $200K. Now, there are some white-bodied individuals that are like, hey, wait a minute. Why are the families profiting off of this? Now, do you want to say something? The Anthony family has not made a profit off of anything. The money that has been raised for them has been able to sustain them, to get them through the holidays, because they're even having to pay for security. The Metcalf family, this is a criminal case. Prosecutors are handling this. They haven't needed security. They haven't needed anything. Now they said that the mother's home was swatted, not the father, who has been all over legacy right wing media. I am inclined to believe that she got her. That was not a true swatting. That was like a sympathy game. But they haven't hired security. They haven't anything. They are very vocal, and she's the quintessential football mom over on Twitter. I want to drop that into your mind. Um, Moving forward for the next part, in talking to advocates that have been working closely and who have seen the video footage, we will be discussing what's in the video, going more into depth with the tent policy. Do keep in mind there were 8 schools total present that day. 2 tents were up. Um, and the admissions that Jeff Metcalf, the father, has made that point to Austin being quite aggressive and enjoying aggressive. Let me say it again. The father ended up having to have surgery on his rotator cuff because it had been torn so many times by his son. And let's not forget, there is a advocate and a faux journalist who happens to be a card-carrying member of TPUSA, Turning Point USA, TPUSA, who was attempting to sue a handful of advocates and allies for the Anthony family, and that is Miss Sarah Fields, who has put more pharmaceuticals in her body than a pharmacy at CVS. Like I said, we'll be slow cooking this. Don't want to bombard you with too much information all at once, but I will see you all Thursday and then again for even more on Sunday with the Villain's View. As always, thank you for joining me here. I will see you all tomorrow behind the scenes for Sound of Coffee on GCPR.live and GCPR Radio on YouTube and TikTok. And then I will definitely see you all midday at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central for the Taz Effect Daily News in a way you didn't know you could use. As always, be good to yourself and one another. Till next time.